Hi everyone, myself Dr. P. Soumya, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. In this session, I am going to discuss about definitions and terminology of environment and ecosystem part 2. So first question is, what is sedimentary cycle? Sedimentary cycle means it includes the leaching of minerals and salts. So movement of minerals and salts from earth and environment. Earth crust which settle as sediment or rock before the cycle repeats. So sedimentary cycle means it includes the leaching of minerals, salts from the earth crust which settle as sediment or rock before the cycle repeats. Sedimentary cycle includes various cycles like phosphorus cycle, sulfur cycle, iron cycle, calcium cycle. So sedimentary cycle, it includes many cycles: phosphorus cycle, sulfur cycle, iron cycle and calcium cycle. Sedimentary cycles, these are vary from one element to another, like phosphorus, sulfur, iron, calcium. So 4 different cycles these are different. So sedimentary cycles, these are vary from one element to another, but each cycle consists fundamentally a solution phase, sediment phase. It have 2 phases each phosphorus cycle and sulfur cycle, iron cycle and calcium cycle. Like all sedimentary cycles, each cycle consists 2 phases. One is solution phase, another one is sediment phase. In a sedimentary cycle, elements move from land to water and sediment. So here, first in sedimentary cycle, elements like phosphorus, sulfur, iron and calcium. So like elements, these move from land to water and then sediment. So these are moved from land and to water, then sediment. So here this is the sedimentary cycle. So here elements are moved first from the land to water, then water to sediment. So water to sediment. So in this main reservoirs, in sedimentary cycle, main reservoirs are the soil and sedimentary rocks. Main reservoirs of the elements are soil and as well as sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary cycle, it is nothing but it is a movement of elements, different elements like phosphorus, sulfur, iron and calcium from earth to atmosphere is called as sedimentary cycle. So this include 4 types of cycles: phosphorus, sulfur, iron and calcium cycle. So these sedimentary cycles, so in this each cycle consists of 2 phases: solution phase and sediment phase. So next question is, what is phosphorus cycle? This is also example of sedimentary cycle. In this phosphorus cycle, the movement of phosphorus from environment to organism takes place. So here movement of phosphorus from environment to organism and organism to environment, then back to the environment is called as phosphorus cycle. The movement of phosphorus from environment to organism and then back to environment is called as phosphorus cycle. Phosphorus cycle may also be referred to as a mineral cycle or sedimentary cycle. So we know that the phosphorus cycle, it is an example of mineral or sedimentary cycle. Unlike the other cycle, the phosphorus cycle cannot be found in air as a gaseous state. So we know that phosphorus, it cannot exist in a gaseous state. It cannot exist in gaseous state. So here in other cycle like oxygen, carbon cycles, water, so they are in gaseous state. But whereas phosphorus, in phosphorus cycle, this phosphorus cannot be found in air as in the gaseous state. The phosphorus cycle, it is the slowest cycle in all the cycles. In all the cycles we have the phosphorus cycle, it is the slowest cycle and it cannot exist in gaseous state. So we know that phosphorus, so atomic number is 15 and this is the phosphorus cycle. So in this rocks and soil, so this phosphorus is weathering from the rocks, and this is by using runoff of the lakes and streams, it is forming inorganic phosphate. Inorganic phosphates, this inorganic phosphate, it is absorbed by the plants and trees. So these are consumed. These trees are these are consumed by the animals. And finally these are forming ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and after decomposition again this is go back to the rocks, sediments. So this is phosphorus cycle. So here movement of phosphorus is taking place from rocks to, again it is coming back to the rocks and sediment. So next question is what is carbon cycle? So carbon cycle means in this the movement of carbon is taking place. Carbon cycle, it is an example of biogeochemical cycle in which carbon compounds are interconverted in the environment and involving the incorporation of carbon dioxide into living tissues by photosynthesis, and it's returned to environment through respiration and the decay of dead organism and burning of fossil fuels. So in this, what is carbon cycle means? The movement of carbon compounds. The movement of carbon compounds like carbon dioxide and any other carbon compounds, these are interconverted in the environment and these are involved in the incorporation of carbon dioxide into living tissues. So main process is photosynthesis process. In this, in photosynthesis, the carbon dioxide is used in photosynthesis, and again this is returns to the environment through respiration and also decay of dead organisms and by burning of fossil fuels. So this simple definition of carbon cycle is the movement of carbon from one area to another area. The movement of carbon from one area to another area is called as carbon cycle. So mainly we have in environment carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide, this is used by the plants and trees for the photosynthesis process. These trees will take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere for the photosynthesis process, and this will produce organic carbon like carbohydrates. So these carbohydrates, these are consumed by the consumers, and so finally during the respiration, during the animal respiration, during the root and plant respiration, so and also by the fossil fuel emissions, by the burning of fossil fuel emissions and decay of dead organisms, we will get carbon dioxide again into the atmosphere. So this is carbon cycle. First, carbon cycle is consumed by the plants, and again the carbon dioxide is emitted by animal respiration and plant respiration and also burning of fossil fuels and decay of dead organisms. So this is about carbon cycle. So next question is what is oxygen cycle? Oxygen cycle means it is also biogeochemical cycle that describes the movement of oxygen within its three main reservoirs. So here in this case, movement of oxygen from one area to another area, like within its three main reservoirs like atmosphere and all living matter, within the biosphere and lithosphere. So here movement of oxygen within its three reservoirs like atmosphere, lithosphere and biosphere. So the main driving factor of oxygen cycle, it is also photosynthesis process, which is responsible for modern Earth atmosphere. So in this oxygen cycle also the driving factor of oxygen cycle is photosynthesis. So we know that the oxygen, this is produced by the plants by the photosynthesis process. By photosynthesis process, we will get oxygen into the environment. This oxygen is absorbed by this is used for animal and plants breathe a respiration process. So these are animals and plants breathing oxygen which is present in atmosphere. So here the plants again these create with photosynthesis, which is used by the animals, and this is again so here oxygen which is present in these are they are taken by the animals and plants, and so here these are producing the carbon dioxide. The animals these are producing carbon dioxide. Again this is carbon dioxide is taken by the plants, and is again it is producing oxygen. This is the oxygen cycle. So here the main driving factor of oxygen cycle is photosynthesis process, because by photosynthesis process only we are producing, so the plants are producing oxygen which is present in our atmosphere. So this is about oxygen cycle. So what is hydrological cycle? The hydrological cycle, it is a system which describes the movement of water. The hydrological cycle, it is the system which describes the movement of water between the earth and its atmosphere, between earth and its environment or atmosphere. So water cycle, it describes how water is exchanged through epsilon, ocean and atmosphere. So here hydrological cycle, it is nothing but water cycle. So here this is describes the movement of water between earth and its atmosphere. So mainly it describes about how water is exchanging through epsilon, ocean and atmosphere. It is also describes the continuous movement of all the forms of water like vapor, liquid, solid forms on and in and above the surface. Above the earth surface. It describes the continuous movement of all forms of water in and on of above earth surface. So this is a diagram which shows about hydrological cycle. So this is having various stages like precipitation, infiltration, runoff and evaporation process, condensation process and evapotranspiration processes. So here the hydrological cycle, it is nothing but it is a movement of water from between the earth and its atmosphere. So it is having five different types of process are there in the hydrological cycle, like condensation process, evaporation, evapotranspiration, infiltration and precipitation and also runoff. So next question is, what are the 5 stages of hydrological cycle? So we know that the 5 stages of hydrological cycle are evaporation, transpiration, condensation, precipitation and runoff. And the next question is, define condensation. Condensation means it is caused when water vapor cools and becomes water droplet. Condensation, it is a process for converting of water vapor into liquid. In this condensation, vapor converts into liquid. Condensation, the vapor cools down and it will form liquid droplets. So here condensation, it is a process when water vapor cools and becomes water droplets. So these water droplets combine with the dust and other small particles to create clouds. So in the hydrological cycle, the condensation of water. So after condensation, these water droplets combine with other dust particles and other particles which are present in atmosphere, and these will form clouds. So this is a definition of condensation. Condensation means it is a conversion of water vapor into water droplets. So next definition is evapotranspiration. So what is evapotranspiration means? It is a combination of 2 separate processes. Evapotranspiration. So this is a combination of 2 processes like evaporation and transpiration. Evaporation and transpiration. Evaporation means loss of water from soil, surface and any other open water body. Evaporation means, so here loss of water from the soil, surface and any other open water body. Transpiration means loss of water from the trees and plants. Transpiration means loss of water from plant surface. Evaporation means loss of water from the soil surface or any water body surface, and transpiration means loss of water from plant surface. So evapotranspiration means loss of water from soil as well as soil surface as well as plant surface. So this is the definition of evapotranspiration. So next definition is define first law of thermodynamics. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transformed to one form to another. So this is the first law of thermodynamics. This describes that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be transformed to one form to another form. So if we take an example, in an ecosystem, green plant like produces transform solar energy to biochemical energy. This will produce some chemical energy. These are producing biochemical energy, which then travels to other trophic levels like consumers, primary consumer, secondary consumer and tertiary consumer. So this is the example of first law of thermodynamics. So what is the first law of thermodynamics means? Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So but it can be transformed from one form to another form. Define first law of thermodynamics. Energy dissipates as it is used, or in other words, it gets converted from a more concentrated to dispersed form. So here no energy transformation is 100%. So first law of second law of thermodynamics. So define second law of thermodynamics. So this is no energy transformation is 100% efficient. It is always accompanied by the some dispersion or some loss of energy in the form of heat. So second law of thermodynamics is, so here no energy transformation is 100% efficient. It is always accompanied by some of the loss of energy. So it is in the form of heat. What is universal energy flow model? So what is universal energy flow model means? As the flow of energy takes place, there is a gradual loss of energy at each level. So as the flow of energy takes place, there is a gradual decrease, gradual loss of energy at each level. So by resulting in less energy available at the next trophic level. So what is universal energy flow model means? As flow of energy takes place upside, there is a gradual loss of energy at each level. So thereby resulting in less energy available at the next trophic level. So what is single channel energy flow model? The flow of energy takes place in a unidirectional manner. So single channel energy flow model means the flow of energy takes place in unidirectional manner, only one directional manner. So example of single channel energy flow model is grazing food chain. So if we see this diagram, so here energy flow is taking place only in one direction. So energy flow is taking place from producer to primary consumer like caterpillar. So next this is flow energy is taking place from caterpillar to frog, then snake and then to owl. So here the producers are the flow of energy taking place from producer to primary consumer, then secondary, then tertiary and quaternary consumer. So this is in a unidirectional manner, unidirectional. So this is only one directional. So this flow model is called as single channel energy flow model. Next definition is define magnification. Magnification means it is the increasing concentration of substance like pesticide or any pollutant. Increasing concentration of substance or like pesticides in organisms at higher level of the food chain, higher trophic level of the food chain. So biomagnification, it is the increasing concentration of substance like pesticide or any pollutant in organism at higher level of the food chain. So it occurs most often in higher trophic levels where exposure is through food rather than water. So it occurs most often in higher trophic level where exposure is through food rather than water. So if we see this mercury biomagnification, mercury concentration is increasing, as it is increasing from water to humans. So this is the higher trophic level, that is humans is in this diagram. Human, it is in higher trophic level. So here water, it is having some low concentration of mercury level. So this is consumed by the algae. So this, by using water and photosynthesis process, these produce some organic compounds. So here these organic compounds are eaten by algae eating insects and insect eating insects, and also insect eating fish. Then this is consumed by fish eating fish, and also then these are consumed by humans. So here the concentration of mercury is increasing as trophic level increases. So it means the higher concentration of mercury is present in humans. So this is called as biomagnification. So it is the increasing concentration of a substance or like a pollutant in organism at higher trophic level is called as biomagnification. So what is biomagnification of DDT? DDT means dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane. This is a pesticide. So dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane is a DDT. So it is used as a it was used as a pesticide in earlier days. So in this in aquatic ecosystem, the concentration of DDT, it increases successive trophic levels. So it is present in low element in water and reaches a high concentration in fish eating birds through biomagnification. If we see the concentration of DDT in the water, the concentration of DDT in water is very less. So whereas in producers it is increasing so 1,000 times, and also here producers, that is like phytoplankton, so it increases 10 times. So zooplankton, so it is increases from this. If we see the diagram, so water to producers to phytoplankton to zooplankton, and small fish and big fish and also fish eating birds. So if we see the concentration of DDT, the concentration increases rapidly. So it reaches high concentration in fish eating birds through biomagnification. So here very high concentration of DDT. So last final is fish eating birds. So here very high concentration of DDT, it disturbs the calcium metabolism in birds. Which causes thinning of eggshells. And their premature breaking eventually. So here these are causing the decline in bird populations. So this, because of this very high concentration of DDT in high fish eating birds, so here the very concentration of DDT, it affects the calcium metabolism in birds, and which causes the thinning of eggshells. Then it leads to their premature breaking. So eventually this will cause the bird population decrease. So here it will causing the decline in bird population. So this is about biomagnification of DDT. So what is carrying capacity? Carrying capacity, it is a maximum number of individuals for a particular species. Carrying capacity, it is a maximum number of individuals per a particular species that the environment can carry or sustain. Carrying capacity can also have broader meaning, that is, it can be defined as the number of living things in any area of land or water it can support at any one time. So carrying capacity is defined as the number of living things in any area of land or water can support at one time. So different organisms will have different carrying capacities. So in the same area. Thus, the carrying capacity of an ecosystem affects everything that lives in. So for example, when a population of ducks is stable, when a population of ducks is stable, so it is the carrying capacity is reached. Means when they grow, thrive and reproduce without fiercely competing for food, water, space and mate. So here this is the when population of ducks is stable, so means the carrying capacity is reached. Carrying capacity means it is the number of maximum number of individuals or number of living things in a particular area, like area of land, area of water, so which can support at any one time is called as carrying capacity. What is desert ecosystem? So desert ecosystem means those regions where the annual rainfall is in the range of 250 to 500 millimeter. So here those regions where the annual rainfall is range of 250 to 500 millimeter and evaporation rate is high is called as desert ecosystem. Those regions where the annual rainfall is range of 250 to 500 millimeter and the evaporation rate is very high, that ecosystem is called as desert ecosystem. Examples, we have many examples of desert ecosystem: Kalahari desert, Sahara desert, Mojave desert, Great Victoria desert, Atacama desert, Arabian desert and Namib desert, Gobi desert, Sahara desert and Sonoran desert and Thar deserts. So these all are the examples of desert ecosystem. So here in this, rainfall is very less and evaporation rate is very high. So that ecosystem is called as a desert ecosystem. Examples of ecosystem: desert ecosystems are main Sahara desert, Thar desert, Namib deserts and Arabian desert, etc. So what are the abiotic components of desert ecosystem? Abiotic components, it is nothing but non-living components. Abiotic components means living organisms are non-living components. So these non-living components of desert ecosystem include temperature, rainfall, soil and water. Temperature, rainfall, soil and water. So these are the abiotic components of desert ecosystem. So what are biotic components of desert ecosystem? Biotic components of desert ecosystem means living components, living organisms of ecosystem include producers and consumers. So producers, we have many examples like shrubs, bushes, grasses, few trees and plants, namely cacti, acacias, euphorbias. So these all are producers examples. So these are biotic components of desert ecosystem. So whereas consumers like camel, birds, snakes and reptiles and tortoise, so these all are biotic components of desert ecosystem. So here by abiotic component ecosystem, so these are temperature, rainfall, soil and water and also wind, altitude, salinity, pH levels. So these all are the abiotic factors of a desert ecosystem. So what are consumers of desert ecosystem? Consumers means consumers which consumes the producers. Consumers. So here different types of consumers are there. So in that, consumers of desert ecosystems are insects, reptiles, rodents, rats, rodents of rats and rabbits, birds, camels, which are capable of living under desert conditions. So we have many examples of consumers in desert ecosystem: insects, reptiles and also rodents of rats, rabbits, camels, birds and other living organisms which are capable of living under desert conditions. So what are decomposers of desert ecosystem? Decomposer of desert ecosystem include bacteria, fungi due to poor vegetation and less quantity of dead organic matter. Decomposer of desert ecosystem, these include bacteria, fungi, because due to poor vegetation, poor vegetation and poor plant growth and also less quantity of dead organic matter. So these are some examples of decomposers like fungi, bacteria, nematodes, and heat-resistant insects. These are acts as decomposers in desert ecosystem. So decomposers, this will decompose organic matter, dead organic matter into useful nutrients. So define pond ecosystem. A pond, it is a quiet body of water, so that is too small for a wave action and too shallow for major temperature differences from top to bottom. So pond, it is a quiet body of water. So here that is too small for wave action, too shallow for major temperature differences from top to bottom. So it is usually has a muddy or slitty bottom with aquatic plants around the edges and throughout. So it has a muddy and slitty bottom with aquatic plants or around and edges and all the throughout the pond. So generally in a pond, the temperature changes with the air temperature, and it is relatively uniform. The temperature is uniform in and out. Top and bottom of the pond, it is usually same temperature. So what are the producers of pond system? Producers in pond system are grass, algae, water lilies, hyacinthus, and phytoplankton. So and also consumers of food pond ecosystem are primary consumers are tadpole larvae of frogs, fishes, and other aquatic animals which consume green plants and algae as their food. In the producers in pond ecosystems like grass, algae, water lilies, and phytoplankton. So in the consumers in the pond ecosystems are these are tadpole larvae of frogs, fishes, and other aquatic animals which consume green plants, and algae as their food. So what are abiotic components of pond system? So here water quality, temperature, light, soil. So here light, soil, temperature and water quality. And seasonal change are the main abiotic components of pond ecosystem. Water quality, temperature, soil, and pH, and also light, water, and also seasonal change. These are the main abiotic components of the pond ecosystem. So what is the scope of ecology? So ecology means it is help to tackle the environmental problems. Ecology, it is a study which is help to tackle the environmental problems like pollution, floods, variation in seasonal patterns, global problems like greenhouse effect, ozone depletion, acid rains, and deforestation. Ecology, it is the study which is used to help to tackle the problems, environmental problems, which includes the pollution, environmental pollutions like air pollution, sound pollution, and other environmental pollutions, floods, management of floods, variation in seasonal patterns, global problems like greenhouse effects, ozone depletion, acid rains, and deforestation. Necessary in maintaining, ecology is necessary in maintaining ecological balance and understanding different biochemical cycles like biogeochemical cycle like carbon cycle, oxygen cycle, and hydrological cycle and other cycles. And also it helps in protecting flora and fauna which is present in our atmosphere, which is present in our on the earth. And by the study of ecology, we can maintain the balance in nature, and we can prevent many ecological disasters. And also it is playing an important role in human health, human benefit, agriculture, pest control, management of grassland, forestry, and conservation of wildlife. So this is the use and scope of ecology study. So in study, so it is used to it is having very important role in field of human benefits and agriculture, pest control and management of grassland, forestry, and it is used for conservation of wildlife. And last question is, what is the scope of environmental science? Environmental science, it is a study. Environmental science, it includes large number of areas. It includes large number of subjects. So it areas and aspects which may be summarized as follows here. So by studying the environmental studies, we can know about the conservation of nature and natural resources, how to conserve the nature and natural resources, and conservation or protection of biological diversity, and how to control environmental and human pollution, and how to tackle with the social issues in relation to development and environment. And it is also used for the development of non-polluting renewable energy system and provide a new dimension to nature's security. So this is about the scope of environmental science. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.